Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Pokemon TCG Pocket. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Space Time Smackdown A2 set, which is releasing on the 29th. There's a few things I want to go through, but before we get into it, because we do have new set hype, and I've been horrible with keeping up coverage on this channel, school holidays is ending, the kids are going back to school, so I'll get back into it, but we are going to do a $50 giveaway in this one. Just be subscribed and leave a comment. Have somewhere in your comment the word Smackdown, and you will go into the draw, and I'll announce the winner in a community post. But there's a few things that I wanted to go through in this video. The first of which being all the cards. Also, I want to go through a website over here where you can take a look at to go ahead and get a good realistic countdown timer if you're trying to find when this stuff actually starts, in case you want to start saving up your hourglass, your energy to go ahead and get those 2 packs as soon as the set arrives, because most people are pretty much sorted with the other packs that they've been opening. And then the final one is, a lot of people have been asking me already, what pack are we going to open and stuff like that. And I want to have a talk about that and why you might want to wait if you are someone like me who has been saving your pack hourglasses, on why you might want to wait a little bit, even though it may be hard because there's going to be a massive urge to go ahead and open some packs. But if you're trying to play a little bit more optimally, it might be worth waiting to see how it pans out. So I want to go through those things. And that's the first thing that I want to address, is if you are saving. So like I said, it's already a topic of discussion on which pack to open based purely on Dialga and Palkia EX. And if you're someone who's like, yeah, I haven't thought about it yet, I can guarantee as soon as this set releases, you're going to be like, what pack are we opening? Because that's the first thing you're going to want to do, is open a pack, and you're just going to want to know which pack. Now, I will do a video covering all of the cards in both packs as soon as it comes out. I'll try and get it out within the first couple of hours of the set releasing, because over here at Pokemon Zone, they are fantastic with updating their database when we do get new sets. So I will go through all the cards, have a discussion about them, and then let you guys know within the first couple of hours what pack I personally will be opening based on what I see from the cards. Now, if you want to get a more meta slave pick, say you're free to play, you're saving up, you've saved all those hourglasses, you want to get the most meta deck possible, then you might actually want to not rush your decision and save for maybe, a few days, maybe up to a week, see what tournaments run, see what decks are performing really well early on, and then go for those ones. Just note the meta is always evolving. So, you can always just look at the sets and take a pick based on what you see in the different packs. And that's what I will be doing. Like I said, within the first couple of hours, I will try and get a video out going through every single card and my personal priority and what pack I will be opening on my free-to-play account that I have been saving on. But once again, you can just choose your favorite card and go nuts. It is fine. The game is not competitive. We don't have a ranked mode. The only thing that's real competitive is the 5-win streak event. And besides that, it's pretty casual, so you can choose your favorites if you want to. But I just know it's going to be, as soon as the set releases, everyone's going to be like, what pack are we opening? And that is my thoughts. I'm going to go through every card as soon as possible, give you guys my plan, and you can go along with it. But that is something that I actually do really like about this game, is that a lot of events and stuff, they put in the files early, and we know a bunch of events and whatnot that are coming to the game pretty early on. That's cool. But the thing I do love that they do is they keep the actual cards from the sets hidden until the set is in the game. So there's no leaks of all the cards. The only leaks we get are the stuff they show us on the trailer. At least that's the way it worked for the last set. And I really like that, because it adds more excitement of, okay, these packs have just come into the game. Let's look at the cards. Who knows what's going to be in there? And you can have a bit of fun with it. But that is my thoughts around it. Once again, I do want to mention this website over here, which is ptcgpocket.gg. They have the really good calendar countdown timer here. And as you can see here, Spacetime Smackdown A2, it starts on Jan 30 at 5 p.m. They say the 29th. It depends where you are in the world, but it's in 6 days and 3 hours. If you go here, you can see the countdown timer and you guys can prepare. Once again, starting the one day out, you want to start saving up your pack energy so that you can get those 2 free packs. I would also be saving up my Wonder Pick energy as well, getting that as close to max as you can, so that when people start pumping these packs out, you can try and snipe some of the cards that you're really looking for as well. So that is that one. But now let's jump back over and look at this. So once again, there is going to be 2 packs. Originally, it was speculated that this would be a 3-pack set. Now we're looking at 2 packs with 140 cards. When we compare that to Genetic Apex, which had 226 diamond cards and 60 rare rare cards. It was a much, when you look at a total of 286, I'm not sure whether this for 140 is like different cards and then rarities are on top. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it is a smaller set than the Genetic Apex, and I think it's fantastic that we only have the 2 packs, to be honest. I think it's a great thing. But let's take a look at some of the cards we have already. This one, Dialga EX, is one that gets me really excited straight off the bat, because when we look at it, it's a bit awkward. I mean, going first with this thing would feel super slow. It does have the 2 retreat costs, but now we have Leaf. That's no issue. It's got a 150 HP, and the 150, it's good to see that they're still fiddling around this 150 benchmark. You know, that's like the big number that's often been wanting to reach ever since Genetic Apex, you know, the Mewtwo type stuff. So they haven't really power crept the 150. When we look at things like Gyarados EX, yes, it goes above the 150 on the HP, but it doesn't have the 150 on the swing. So they're sort of balancing around this 150 benchmark. At the moment, I can definitely see the benchmark going up in the next couple sets. We will have to wait and see. But this one has the Metallic Turbo. It requires 2 steel energy. Take 2 steel energies from your energy zone and attach it to one of your benched Pokemon. Now, obviously, Melmetal's the main one we're probably going to see benefit, but obviously, when we take a look at the rest of the cards in these packs, hopefully we have some more metal support. I'm also really hoping for some more dark support as well. We'll have to wait and see. But the big thing about this is it's taking metal energy and attaching it to one of your bench Pokemon. I believe this is the first energy plussing we have that doesn't care about the type of the Pokemon. When you look at Misty, it has to be water Pokemon. Moltres EX has to be fire Pokemon. What else do we have? We have the Superior, that has to be grass Pokemon. So like, I'm pretty sure every energy is limited by the type of the Pokemon at least, if not specific names like on the Brock card. So this one makes me excited for doing some different plays with Pokemon that maybe have colorless tied into their play, or maybe just general colorless Pokemon. You look at your Pidgeots and stuff like that. You know, you're definitely going to have some viability there, but I like that this opens up different options. The one thing with this one is I do think it might be a little bit slow, especially going first, trying to get 2 energy before you can get that ramp up. But if that ramp up is significant enough and you can still survive after that to go ahead and escape after it, it's not too bad. But I think this one's just going to feel really bad playing it and going first with it. Besides that, going second, I think it's fine. You know, they have a turn, you put an energy on, they only get to swing once, you then swing, put the energy on, you're probably going to survive whatever they do next, and then you can escape out, whether it be with an X speed, whether it be with a leaf, or whether it be just sacrificing those 2 energies, because essentially then you're just had a wall while you build something up, and then you've chipped some damage to get the 2, which you've then used. So I think it's in general going to be a pretty solid card. Once again, it's going to depend on everything else in it, but I think in general, I do like the look of this card. Moving on from that one, we have Palkia EX. Now, this one is going to be disgusting. This one is going to be like, not in general, but you're going to see people complain about this. You remember Articuno EX and Misty when the game first launched? You're going to see some people rage like from turn 2 Misty plays, because turn 2, like even if it's turn 2 and you're doing 150 damage plus 20 to everything on the bench, even though this guy has to discard 3 water energies, if you get that by turn 2, like it's just GG's. I feel like you're just destroying a board in that sense. I mean, some decks will survive it, but I think you will see some rage posts and clips from this guy. And honestly, the 1 energy slash at 30 damage in itself makes this a really good starter. Now, it does have the 2 retreat cost, but once again, that is not too bad considering Leaf is in the game. And once again, this card floating around that 150 range, 150 HP, 150 damage. That is what we are seeing as being a really consistent benchmark for the game. But yeah, I think obviously this guy, you're going to be using the Dimensional Storm either as a really early game Misty sweep, and you just like lucky out on Misty heads, or as a finisher. So I can see you maybe starting with this guy as a bit of a wall, slashing around, leafing him out to go into your other plays. And then if you've got all your energy set up, then you just slowly build him up in the back as your finishing play to get your last point / 2 points against an EX, something like that. And I can see that being the real play with Palkia. But in general, the 2 figureheads of the packs, I really like the look of these 2 cards. Lucario is another one that gets me super excited. There's just so many fun fighting cards. And one that people probably get sick of me talking about is Kabuto. Kabutops because I just love Kabutops. Even if he's not meta, I just enjoy Kabutops. And the idea of getting Kabutops an extra 20 damage on his swing so he can heal even more. His big problem is that he is low on HP. However, I'm hoping we get a Pokemon tool that can increase HP so I can have some fun. But we'll talk about Pokemon tools in a minute. So this one, Fighting Coach, it just seems pretty solid in general. Attacks used by your fighting Pokemon do plus 20 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Now, just note that it does say active Pokemon, so Hitmonlee not going to be benefiting from this. So you can't do cheesy plays with Hitmonlee to be swinging on the back row for 50. Unfortunately, would have been really fun, but no, it's not. But this guy does have, and just note, there is no text that says it doesn't stack. So if you are using two of these guys and you can put them both out, that's really solid. You can get an extra 40 damage on your fighting type Pokemon. I think we're going to see some really fun decks with this. I don't know what will end up being the most meta. Maybe we have some new fighting cards that become meta with this, but I definitely think this can be put into a competitive deck. It does have 100 HP, living those 90 swings, which is really, really solid. 110 is obviously better, so you can avoid Giovanni's, but in general, I think this is a really, really solid card, and I think there's going to be a lot of fun to be had with it. I also would not be surprised if we saw a Lucario EX in the set. Lucario is such a figurehead of the game, and I would be really surprised if we didn't also have a Lucario EX, which in that kid situation, if we have Lucario and Lucario EX, then you have the possibility of running 2 Riolu and then running like 3 or 4 Lucarios to get a bit more consistency on getting evolutions in there. I think there could be a little bit of fun plays with that. But once again, that is not confirmed. That is just speculation on me, because, you know, Lucario is such a... It's a very memorable Pokemon. Like, a lot of people love Lucario, so I could see that coming. The next ones we have are Turtwig, Chimchar, and Piplup. Not too much to say about them. Turtwig going what we normally see with the grass, which is slower, more HP. When I say slower, I mean higher retreat cost and more HP. Chimchar's the pretty standard 60-20 split with the 1 energy, 1 retreat. And then we do have the Piplup with the 60 HP and the healing, and the 1 retreat. Don't really like the healing on it as much. It's not really my play, but you know, it is what it is. I'd rather get some pressure on. But it is colorless, so whenever a stage 1 has a colorless, I'm always curious to see how the evolutions go. But that is a look at that one. Then we do have the Cynthia. So this one is very interesting to me. So during this turn, attacks by your Garchomp or Togekiss do plus 50 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Now, this one is very interesting. So this is like a Blaine power creep. Now, Garchomp is another Pokemon that I can see having an EX and a normal version in this set. So if Garchomp is an EX, I feel like it's going to hit like a truck anyway, and this is just obsolete. If Garchomp has a non-EX version, then maybe it has lower numbers, and this can be super clutch. But then, on the other hand, I think Togekiss is where this is going to have real magic. Once again, we don't know because we don't know the actual cards, but I feel like Togekiss is more likely to have great impact with this, because Togekiss, it's not so much seen as the big hitter. So we're obviously going to have Togepi, Togetic, and Togekiss. So they're both stage 2s, which makes it a bit slow to use, and that may work down its effectiveness. But I feel like Togekiss may have a more supportive type kit in its attacks, and that's why I think Togekiss may have the lower damage, more effects tied into its kit, so it may benefit more from the plus 50. But we'll have to wait and see. Yes, it is just a power creep on Blaine's numbers, but because Blaine is used on primarily you're using it on Ninetales and Rapidash, which are stage 1s. This is going to be used on stage 2s, so I do see why they increase the number on it, because it is going to be harder to use. So if you get to it, you may as well get a bit more benefit out of it from that. So that is what I can see from that one. We will have to wait and see. But not too bad. I'm just excited for Garchomp in general. As you can see, we've got the Gibble. This one here, Pachirisu. What have we got? If this Pokemon has a Pokemon tool attached, this attack does 40 more damage. I am super looking forward to Pokemon tools. They are like equip cards, let's just call them. I think they're going to be a really interesting placement in the 20 card decks on where you put them in. You'll want more universal ones that can equip to most Pokemon in your deck, but I am just super curious on how these pan out. I can see a simple Pokemon tool being like, the Pokemon equipped with this tool gets plus 20 HP. I feel like stuff like that can really change the effectiveness of a lot of Pokemon. in their abilities to survive from specific hits. So I do think Pokemon tools are going to be a lot of fun. I think they're going to be very, very basic. Maybe like this Pokemon does plus X damage, with its attacks, or I think they're going to be like more HP, more damage. I don't think there's going to be anything insane that like the traditional TCG has on the Pokemon tools, but I think we will get some things that, even though the tool may be basic, it could be enough to really change the functionality of some cards in the game. So I really am looking forward to tools, and that's what I got most excited about with the Pachirisu, is the fact that we are getting Pokemon tools. But in itself, this one, when it was zoomed out, it looks like it has a 40 damage plus, and it does 40 more damage. So 80 damage on a basic EX ain't too bad when we look at the Pika EX being that 90, but you need the bench requirement. This does have the requirement of the tool, but still not too bad. Seems to be the way that Electric is kind of focusing. Next, we have the Leafeon, 90 HP, and then we've got during your next turn, this Pokemon can't, and I'm going to say attack, because if we've got Leafy Cyclone, which is a 2 energy with 90 HP and it's 90 damage, I would say can't attack. It would be really interesting if it's like can't retreat, but yeah, I'm not too sure. We'll have to wait and see on this one. This one, there's just not enough information, but it is not a bad swing for 2 energy on a stage 1 to swing for 90. When we look at it, you're looking at Ninetales type range. Ninetales obviously has the discard. So for a stage 1 to have this kind of effect, there's going to be some sort of condition to it. So we'll have to see what that condition is. If it's not attack, then I'm assuming you just, you scrap it, you retreat it out, you swing with something else, and away you go. Pairs probably really well with Executor, because Executor, it doesn't need too much energy, so you can just retreat the Leafeon out, put in the Executor, swing for heads on the EX with the 1 energy. I feel like there could be some really solid plays in there as well. Have to wait and see. And then we got Honchkrow. I've never known how to say this Pokemon's name. But 50 damage to one of your opponents. So not too sure exactly what this is going to be. It could be the 50 damage to one of your benched, or 50 damage to any one of your opponent's Pokemon. It is a 2 retreat cost. 2 retreat isn't a bad thing anymore with Leaf in the game. But I'm just happy to see more dark support in the game. But hopefully we can get some really good dark supports along the way. So that's what I'm hanging out to see. Cresselia, heal 20 damage from this Pokemon for 50 damage on a 2 energy. The retreat cost is going to be the big thing on this one. 110 HP is like the perfect basic number. I feel like 110 HP is like, you're not wasting other stats on the card by going above 110, but 100, you survive a lot of those key 90 hits, but you can lose to Giovanni. 110 puts you safe from the Giovanni. So the difference between 110 and like 130, 140 HP ain't too much for me. I'd love to have that 110 HP and maybe hopefully reduce the retreat cost to be, I doubt it's going to have a 1 retreat cost. I'm pretty sure Cresselia is a pretty slow Pokemon in the actual game. I can't remember, but I'm anticipating a 2 retreat cost on this one, which is still perfectly reasonable when you've got Leaf in the game. So that is what I'm expecting. We'll have to wait and see. And then the final one they have there is the Shinx. So we are going to have the Luxray in the game. I do love a Luxray as well. So we'll have to wait and see, but that is a look at the cards that we know so far. That is my thoughts on them. Once again, jump over and check out this website to go ahead and get your countdown timer for when the set actually releases. Don't forget to leave a comment with Smackdown somewhere in your comment to enter the draw for the $50 giveaway. And once again, wait, I will do a video going through all the cards when it does come out, and I'll tell you guys which pack I am choosing. But if you want to really not waste any of your saved hourglasses, quote unquote waste, because eventually you'll get stuff, but if you want to be a bit picky, you can wait and see what the meta pans out for the first week or so, and then make your decision from there. But the thing's always evolving, as we saw in the previous set. It evolves quite a lot. Like Celebi, we thought like that was going to be the be all end all, and then it turned out that Gyarados was kind of the goat of that little format. Plus those cheeky little fighting decks with the Hitmonlee and the Marshadow have been performing really well as well. So you will have different options. But anyway, guys, I'm going to stop rambling. As always, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.